Hey, what's slicing, everybody? Chris back with CAC Knives here for a knife review slash knife overview of the Kershaw Norad. This is actually a knife. If you're tuning in for this video, within the first week of its release, this is the knife that I am giving away for all people in the future. This will be a review of this knife. So let's get into it. This knife is a Chinese-made Kershaw in D2 blade steel with a two-tone blade, very nice two-tone blade, with a nice fuller that does allow you to reverse flick. Sometimes it's hard for me to get that reverse flick going on camera. There we go, because I try not to hit the stand that the camera's on. So yeah, very smooth. It is on bearings. It does have these very stylish handles with these carbon fiber inlays there, and then it's got a smaller one on that side with a nice deep carry clip. Barely any of this knife will stick out, and it is a frame lock. So before we get into the full review and what I think about this knife, let's get a little size comparison going here, showing it up against the Civivi Elementum, of course, and the QSP Penguin, the Normal 2 that everybody knows and loves, and I'm sure most knife enthusiasts will have handled at least one of these knives, if not both of them. And just in case you haven't, let's go ahead and bring out the Spyderco Delica as well, which I've yet to do a review on. But as you can see, this knife is definitely bigger than all of these, so I would put it in the slightly above average category. Definitely not the largest knife that I own, but since it's sitting right here, let's bring out the bionic jack as well, and we'll see if it's longer than that one. Yeah, it's longer than that one too, yeah. But it is not heavy for its size. Well, I didn't really realize it was that big until bringing those knives out. But let's get into my point review system. For those of you that don't know, I have 5 categories that I rate knives on, and I'm rating them more for EDC. So that's kind of what pocket knives are meant for, is EDC, and that's kind of how my grade system works. I have 5 categories, and I give them a number out of 10 in each category. So the first category is fit and finish. I have found 0 fit and finish issues with this knife. Though I am seeing a little one right now, but I'm not sure if it's intentional or not. I'm trying to figure out if it is intentional. If you can see there on the spine, see if I get that to focus a little better. Here on the spine, this side's cutouts have a smaller gap here than this side, and I don't know if that's intentional. Sometimes things like that are intentional, but I can't really tell if it's intentional or an error. Since I can't tell, we're going to actually assume that it is a little bit of an error. But the rest of the knife looks good. But since there's that little issue on the blade there, which again, that might have been intentional, but I'm not sure, we're going to have to dock it a point for fit and finish. So we're going to give this knife a 9 out of 10 for that. The spine of blades is what I always check, because that's usually where the most errors happen, unless the handles are just cheap. But in this case, they're definitely not. So yeah, we'll give it a 9 out of 10 for fit and finish. Price for the materials. Well, we got a D2 blade here. This knife goes for around $60. We have very unique customized handles. The blade is kind of 4-toned in a way. You got 1, 2, 3, 4 different sections on this blade, which takes an incredible amount of machine work, which may have been why an error happened here, because there's too much going on the blade that it was hard to get it exactly right on the line But the handles have really nice construction. I like the lines going here. These, I don't know if they're aluminum or stainless steel. I would guess they're just steel. Nice carbon fiber inlays. These are the good carbon fiber, not that cheap crap. As you can tell there, it looks real nice swaying around in the light. Has these kind of custom pivots. It also has the other inlay on the other side. And you know, I really like the flow of this knife. Like how it goes curve and then it curves again. It just looks really nice. $60 for D2 and this kind of work. I think that's pushing it a little bit. I personally do. I think this knife should be priced around $45 to $50. I know it's on bearings, but let's be honest, what knife isn't on bearings these days if it wants to be? So I would say 45 to 50 really where this knife should have been priced, Kershaw. And that's, I'd say that's even being a tad bit generous just because of all the different production levels that went into creating this knife. Kershaw's a very well-known brand. They can probably get away with a little bit of price gouging when they make these more interesting looking knives, but that's okay. So for the price for the materials and the work, I'm also going to only give it a 9 out of 10. Smooth action and fidgetivity, all 10 out of 10 for this knife for sure. Not only do you have a flipper that essentially disappears, right? And it's barely even there, but it functions very well. This knife is incredibly smooth, can be opened by thumb if you're one of those kinds of people. I don't really open knives with my thumb. I'm a reverse flick person, and it's very easy to do on this knife with that very long and thick fuller there. So yeah, 10 out of 10 for fidgetivity for sure. The ease of carry, and is it lightweight for its size? It weighs about right where it should. They definitely milled out the insides. You can see there. See how you can kind of see where the light hits it differently in there? That's because they milled out a lot of the inside. Honestly, it looks like a Civivi milling level of job in there, which is great, right? That's how you reduce that weight as much as you can. It is very easy to carry. This clip works very well. It is deep carry. It does not have titanium clip options as far as I know. And even if some ever exist, instead of just being on the knife, though it has a big gap there. You know, I don't know if you could switch this for a Civivi clip. You might actually be able to. Though looking at them now, I think the Kershaw one is a little bit further spaced out. But there is no titanium clip options for this, which to me is kind of a bummer. If you can't find any titanium clips for your knife, I'm not saying steel clips are necessarily bad, but eventually they will snap, especially on knives that you use a lot. So we're probably gonna have to dock it half a point for no titanium clip options available. But as far as ease of carry and lightweight goes, each of those are perfect. So we're gonna go 9.5 out of 10 for the ease of carry. Easy to maintain, clean, and sharpen. Well, it's just got a simple simple curve there on the blade, real simple to sharpen as well. As far as taking this knife apart goes, you only have a single pivot that you got to unscrew, and then you only have 2 other screws. So yeah, this knife should be a breeze to take apart, honestly, and clean the insides out of. And I don't think there's anything else as far as the hardware goes. No, not that I see. So yeah, you should have no problem disassembling this knife and cleaning it, and you should have no problem sharpening it. Blades like this tend to generally be very easy to sharpen. You can just do, if you're on a stone, just one nice easy little swipe and you're sharpening your blade. So overall, what would I give this knife? I would say this knife would get a 9 out of 10 for me. If the little bit of issues there on that blade being not perfectly symmetrical weren't there, I I think this knife would get a 9.5 out of 10, but you know, for Kershaw especially, and again, I still don't know if this is intentional, but if it isn't intentional, this shouldn't happen. Like, I don't know how easy it's coming out on the camera, but there definitely is a gap between the right and left side of the blade where the fullers are. So the fuller's bigger at the end here than it is on this side. That's hard to see on video, but it's definitely there. And we have to dock it a point for that, because we have to assume that that was a mistake, right? But yeah, overall, still a really good knife. I'm glad somebody's going to receive it. There's a reason I chose this one to give away. Not only was it a knife that I could afford to give away, but it was also a good knife that I hope lasts somebody a really long time, and works out well for them. D2 is a very good steel to stay sharp for a long time. Just got to keep it oiled, and you have to make sure it doesn't rust, right? Considering these handles, I would also keep them oiled, just in case. Whoever receives this in the giveaway. Yeah, for details on that giveaway, guys, if it's still going on at the time you're watching this video, go check out my knife giveaway video. You have to comment on there. You have to like that one in order to be entered in the giveaway. And thanks for tuning in. Let me know what y'all think of this knife, and I'll see you in the next video.